It's Ron Reader digs the universe. I'm Ron Reader, and this is Ron Reader Digs the Universe, and tonight, conservatives and groomers. One of my last standing Trump friends, I mean as in friends who I take seriously, is no longer taken seriously by me. He was on the high school debate team with me back in the 80s, and he and I still talk politics on Facebook from time to time. And while our exchanges haven't been what I would call satisfying, they have been mostly rational and definitely civilized. He's been an important window for me into the mind of the college-educated MAGA man. But now I've noticed that he's started pushing that stupid groomer shit, which takes him out of the realm of rationality and into some truly disturbing territory. What my buddy posted were some pictures and a video montage of President Biden being affectionate with children at various public events. Now, according to conservatives, this means the president is grooming these kids so as to make later sexual molestation of them all the easier. Except that when I see these pictures, it reminds me of when I'm being affectionate with my cat Moo. Amazingly, radically, extremely over the top, non-sexual, just making a connection with a little one. But to conservatives, if they already hate you, you are a groomer, whether that makes any sense or not. Indeed, this has become a discussion-destroying, go-to right-wing rhetorical tactic in the last half-decade or so. When you got nothing, flood the zone with outrageous, salacious groomer bullshit and let the chips fall where they may. I mean, that's how it works in my own personal experience. Calling me a groomer changes the discussion into one about how I may or may not be a child molester. Who cares about defending Trump when there's a monster, me, on the loose? They're like the space hippies in that old school episode of Star Trek, chanting, Herbert, 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 groomer, groomer, groomer. Where is all this coming from? I mean, obviously, the way the groomer smear is used has a lot to do with the fact that conservatives no longer have any legitimate ideas of their own. And chanting groomer is the discussion equivalent to flipping over the risk board in disgust when your Australia strategy has failed. But more widely, the right wing's groomer fixation takes place within a cultural context. There are origins, of course, within QAnon's Pizzagate conspiracy theory, which has liberal elites trafficking children through a DC pizza parlor, but I think it's not simply psychotic mythology. Conservatives have long loved the way that liberal support for abortion rights allows conservatives to assert that all liberals are baby killers. That's not true, of course, but branding all liberals as child molesters strikes me as a good way to escalate the accusations, and given that conservatives have been already having what amounts to a mass sex panic for the last 50 years, well, calling everybody a groomer is a good fit. The right-wing descent into the sewer has been a long time in the making. So this is some really fucked up shit, calling everybody a groomer because you don't like what they have to say or what they believe. Not only are these people dirty liars, but they also degrade any and all cultural emphasis on actual child molesters and actual victims. In their hate for liberals, conservatives make a joke out of an incredibly serious issue. That's how depraved the right wing has become. I'm Ron Reader, and this has been Ron Reader Digs the Universe. Join me, Ron Reader, again next week for another episode of Ron Reader Digs the Universe. Groomer, groomer, groomer!